When the air is clear, the sunset will appear yellow, because the light from the sun has passed a long distance through air and the blue light has been scattered away. If the air is polluted with small particles, natural or otherwise, the sunset will be more red. Sunsets over the sea may also be orange, due to salt particles in the air. When early humans hunted and gathered food, they were not in control of their environment. They could only interact with their surroundings as lower organisms did. When humans learned to make fire, however, they became capable of altering their environment. To provide themselves with fuel, they stripped bark from trees, causing the trees to die. The red panda spends much of its time in trees but feeds on the ground, eating primarily bamboo leaves but also fruit and roots. The giant panda superficially resembles a bear. The body is chiefly white, and the limbs are brownish-black, with the dark color extending up over the shoulder. The ears and eye patches are black. The Great Hanshin Earthquake, or the Kobe earthquake as it is more commonly known overseas, was an earthquake in Japan that measured 7.2 on the Japanese scale. It occurred on January 17, 1995 at 5:46 am 52 seconds in the southern part of Hyogo Prefecture and lasted for approximately 20 seconds. Stonehenge is an ancient monument situated about 10 miles north of Salisbury in England. It was built about 4,500 years ago, but by whom and for what purpose remains a mystery. The builders must have known of geometry. They may have been influenced by the Mycenaeans, whose architecture was similar. Scratchy throats, stuffy noses and body aches all spell misery. But being able to tell if the cause is a cold or flu may make a difference in how long the flu lasts. That's because the prescription drugs available for the flu need to be taken soon after the illness sets in, although the symptoms can be eased with over-the-counter medications. Proponents of the nurture theory claim that our environment is more important than our biologically based instinct in determining how we will act. They see humans as beings whose behavior is almost completely shaped by their surroundings. Neither of these theories can yet fully explain human behavior. People seldom feel neutral about poetry. Those who love it sometimes give the impression that it is an adequate substitute for food, shelter, and love. But it isn't. Those who dislike poetry on principle sometimes claim, on the other hand, that poetry is only words and good for nothing. That's not true either. Parents teach their children to be fearful and cautious of specific dangers, such as fire or crossing the road. Anxiety can be useful, because it helps protect the child from harm. However, children can be fearful of situations or objects that adults don't consider threatening. Panda is the name for two nocturnal Asian mammals, the red panda and the giant panda. The red panda, also known as lesser panda and cat bear, is found at high elevations in the Himalayas. It resembles a raccoon but has a longer body and tail and a more rounded head. Its thick fur is rust-color to deep chestnut, with black on the under parts, limbs, and ears. Opera refers to a dramatic art form, originating in Europe, in which the emotional content is conveyed to the audience as much through music, both vocal and instrumental, as it is through the lyrics. By contrast, in musical theatre an actor's dramatic performance is primary, and the music plays a lesser role. One of the major processes that takes place in schools, of course, is that students learn. When they graduate from high school, many can use a computer, write essays with three-part theses, and differentiate equations. In addition to learning specific skills, they learn to think critically, to weigh evidence and to develop independent judgment. In the context of the era of economic globalization, the economic exchanges between countries and regions are becoming more and close. As an important way of importing and exporting, the special status and value of free trade port trade are increasingly reflected. In the 1920s, new technology allowed filmmakers to attach to each film a soundtrack of speech, music and sound effects synchronized with the action on the screen. These sound films were initially distinguished by calling them talking pictures, or talkies. The next major step in the development of cinema was the introduction of color. In bringing up children, every parent, regardless of ethnicity, income, education, or geographic location, watches eagerly the child's acquisition of each new skill. However, it is often tempting to hurry the child beyond his natural learning rate, which can set up dangerous feelings of failure and states of worry in the child. This might happen at any stage. German economist E. A. Kotz carried out a wealth of research on the evolution of port location spatial structure, published in 1934, marking the formation of port location theory. So far, after nearly 200 years of development, many scholars at home and abroad through research and analysis have formed a relatively perfect location theory system and research methods. First language, also known as mother tongue, is generally the language a person learns first. However, one can have two or more native languages, thus being a native bilingual or indeed multilingual. The order in which these languages are learned is not necessarily the order of proficiency. Dementia patients must take medicines promptly. Skipping doses can result in faster disease progression, which can be harmful to the patient and cause turmoil for the family members. Dosette boxes are an excellent way to organize pills. The caregivers can organize the pills for the patients to be taken later. The modern period ended with the radical transformation of the technologies of communication, knowledge, and energy that followed World War II. A central characteristic of the modern period has been continued increase in the efficacy of the technology of production, which poses a growing challenge to the primacy of the values these means are supposed to serve. COVID-19 pandemic had created additional challenges for the dementia patients and their caregivers. With many care facilities having to close their operations, the care for the patient suffered, even as the experts have emphasized the need to increase the support. Such a situation highlighted the importance of developing and using more telemedicine and digital technology devices for remote care and monitoring.